Hey, hey, hey. Hello. Hello. Hello, everyone. I decided to stream. I was a bit undecided because I had to do some stuff, but I actually managed to do it a bit now. So, in the last half an hour, 1 hour or so. So, it's not too bad. I think we can stream. Why not? And did I change the what? Weird. No, I'm ready. All right. I think I'm ready. If the webcam is working, if everything is working, there is some technology behind all of this. It's not always easy. Here I am. Hello. Hello. So, picture of the day. Someone did a pile of things, huh? Yeah. Interesting. Okay. What we're gonna do? Well, the title of the stream is about combat, animation, and special attacks. Now, this is kind of a broad topic, but I think that we need to somehow let me see the open issues that we have here. Fixed rotation mode, fixed and Kirukai tail, add back state and C to ground state, check if NPC are moving okay. Fixed attacks enemies and not being as for monster. I think some of this these were in the parking lot some time ago, long time ago. Let me just save this one and close it. I was thinking, do we have already a mission for, well, for sure we have a mission for combat. I think combat, we worked on it a lot. Yes, combat improvement, combat behavior, spells in combat, combat 1. So there was this combat improve, right? Let me see. This combat improve, what was saying? Split the attack into 2 parts, 50%. Trigger the animation, blah blah. Client display. Be sure to open NPC. Left click. Improve chase by adding some random action like idle sound. Yes. Yes, exactly. So actually, the story is that I was working on this, and then hello Tony, hello Chiblef Bloodfang. Hey, welcome. So the story is that I was working on this actually, like maybe 3 weeks ago or something, or 1 month ago, I don't know. And then I realized that the characters were broken or not working well, right? And that the skeleton was not good, the animation were not playing right, and so I said, well, let's work on something else meanwhile, and maybe we're gonna fix it. And so I worked a bit on the Fantasy Village. I worked a bit on some of the UI, some of the improvements, and then we went into the fixing of the assets. So now that we have the assets fixed, I think I can go back to this, because now in theory the attack animations should work properly, right? And yeah, so I think we can revive, this mission, this one. We can revive this mission, which is called Combat Improvements, and putting it in our nice paint. And yeah, I was working exactly on this stuff, and I was having some issues because I was not fully sure how to organize the different areas where the monsters are for attacking, right? And mainly this one, you know, reposition, strafe, and things like that. And I did some tests, but then I stopped because again our animation were a bit broken. So I think we can go back to that. But before this, I think what we need to do, we need to finish the sockets. I had zero time today after dinner, so I need to do it now. So I couldn't do anything. So sometimes I try to squeeze, you know, a bit of plane shift just after dinner, but couldn't do it at all. So we need to put the sockets in place because these are anyway needed for holding weapons that are needed to attack. Are we getting different animations for different weapons? At the moment, the idea is to have some special attacks, yes, by weapon category, right? So basically, when you have, I don't have the UI open, and now I cannot open it very easily, but basically, can we delete this? Yeah. This one we can delete. So in the UI that you have for skills and jobs and talent and whatever, so in that UI, right, where you have the skills, when you have the other things, you also have the a new thing that was not in plane shift before. So for example, for swords or for club and maces and for axes and so on, you have a kind of slider, right? Well, a kind of a bar, not a slider, so kind of a bar. And this bar is something like that for each, right? And then on top of the bar, you have some kind of markers for progression. So these markers are, I don't know, something like this, right? And these markers that you have are basically giving you the indication that at a certain rank, you know, in a specific rank, you will be able to progress and gain a special ability or something like that, right? And so when you reach one of these points, you gain a talent or a special ability, right? And each one is described. I mean, has his own small description that basically appears at the bottom when you mouse over it. And the description is saying something like, I don't know, for access, I don't know, more speed, you know, thanks to your speed in attacks, you can now, I don't know, do a swing twice or something like that, okay? You can now swing twice. So, and basically you will have, or have a swing combo or something, right? So, this means that when you reach that particular rank, and I know this rank can be 30, let's say, 30 rank in Axis, and this one can be 60 or 89. I mean, it can be any number that we decide. At the moment, they are not really fully decided, but right? So when you reach this, you will have a special attack, right? And now this is for attacks, but the same is valid for all the other skills, okay? Even for cooking. And hello, Hula. Yes, our skills for weapons are divided in weapon groups, okay? In weapon groups. So basically, that is the thing, right? That is the thing. And what I wanted to say, yes, I wanted to say that then when you reach 30, for example, you have this one. This for us can actually be associated to a new animation, for example. Okay, so this for us can be the fact that you can have a new animation or a new action or a new special attack. You know, so you gain a new special attack. Which may result, in a new animation. Now, I don't know if we can have animations for everything, different animation for everything, but maybe there can be a different sound or a different particle following the weapon, or I don't know. We will decide what we want to do, but anyway, this will be the possibility. Yeah. So now that we have, the point is that now that we have, the solid base, maybe we can start to add some of those. And actually, I think Zwei already did some work on that, because there were already some animations under our PS template, which were called combat, and they were already pre-selected. The problem is that all these animations now need to be re-imported, because they are not correct. They are on the old skeleton, and this skeleton has the issue when scaled, and so we need to, but it is an example. Okay, sorry, let me remove the bones, which are a bit annoying. So it is an example, of an animation of an attack. Now, the problem we have is the 13 characters, or the 17 characters, how many they are. So because in theory you would like to have, kind of different animations for certain races, but at the moment we cannot really afford that. It's too much. So, you see, something like that. Boom. Yeah, boom. So this could be a nice attack, for example. There are very, very good animations. And we can even try to retarget these ones. I don't know if they will work, but in theory they are working on the old skeleton. I think if we just re-import with the new, they will not work as expected. Also, some like this one are very complicated, and they use root motion, but now we can use it. So, right? So that's the idea. So, but let's go step by step. Let's not dream too much, because you can dream, let's add 1 million animations, but then, the system needs to support them, the skills needs to be there, the progression needs to be there. So let's start with the basics. So that's the target, but we need to start with the basics first. So the basics are that in our character, and in particular in our skeleton, which is under good skeleton. Yes, I named it good just to be sure that it's the one that we want to use, and so we don't make mistakes. They are Mixamo, yeah, they should be brought in with a clean new workflow. I got an idea. Having ideas is always good. But then you need to make them real. Okay, let's see. I got an idea. As the game is legacy, so long could have, say, legendary weapons that have been legendary character in PvP that are known to be strong, and a lot of these characters add for a lot of time very uncommon weapon they used. Could this be like added in some way? You mean when you say character, you mean NPC, or you mean players? And also when you say legendary, you mean that they will have different statistics or just a different name, because one thing is just having a different name for the weapon and being named certain way in one way, and another thing is to have, you know, different statistics which are really, you know, more powerful than the normal weapons. I added I added few songs. Let me see if we I think when I add, let's do this deal, okay? When I add new songs, I'm playing one song of the new thing at the beginning, and then we do the shuffle, because maybe otherwise we will never find out. We will never listen to that one, right? I added a few more, and in particular this one. Let's play a few songs from this new album that I put in. It's from it's called FTL, unfortunately, so it's not very evident. Ouch. I can't rename them all. Are you ready to rename them all? The game is actually named Faster Than Light, which, yes, is FTL as an acronym, but I'm going to rename them all to Faster Than Light. It was a space video game, which is very chill music, very futuristic music, and I think it's very nice. Let me see what you're saying. Yes, players. So you want your weapons that are existing since long time to be buffed. The problem is that I don't have any trace that a specific weapon exists since long time, you know? So like there is no information in the database that is telling me if a specific sword or a specific axe is there since very long time. There is not this information. So it can be generated. It can be generated now, or fuck, I changed all of them and it didn't work. Why? No, because he has the tag 2. Shit. I can remove the tag 2. One second, I'm doing something in the... I know it's not very needed, but I'm doing something on the MP3 to change the names. Because I want the name of the game to show up. Also to give credits to, you know, to the game. Are they changing or not? They should be changing now. They should be changing. I'm watching on the second screen, huh? Give it a story such as this used to belong as such, and give it a game feels like a lot of history. Yeah, we're making a story for one weapon. I don't know. Okay, now it shows finally. Okay, So what I wanted to say, yes, we need to decide about the socket. So the idea was to the idea was to copy the socket from the previous skeleton, right? Copy the sockets from the previous skeleton. And what? Is here. Right hand. And left hand. They're not very easy to see. I think they should color them in another color or something. The sockets are not very easy to see in this mess. Okay, so the for some reason we decided that I don't know why, but we decided the socket as a 0.9 scale, because I think that on the base skeleton is 0.9, but I set it all to 0.9, and then I set it that, let me try to put the same X, right, which is kind of an old X, but okay, so we need to compare this guy with this guy. And we need to set on this one the same position and same so here is not, I think it's not scaled, so we will use the 0.9 here as well, just because if we set it, there is probably a reason, right? And so the weapon obviously becomes a bit smaller, but the weapons will change in size based on the characters they are on. So that's very good, because the socket will scale together with the character. Ah, you want to get your old weapon back, huh? Ah, maybe we can create new weapons, you know. They will be good. So what you want to do, you want to have basically like a Magic the Gathering Black Lotus card back into the normal play. It is what you're asking. So bring like a rare item in the game. I think it doesn't look bad anyway, the way it is now. It doesn't look too bad compared to this one, no? No, it looks a bit bad actually. Now that I see it in this perspective, I need to remove the 10% thingy. The best will be to see it in idle animation anyway. The the major difference I see is the vertical rotation, which in this one seems to be way more to the way more down, like this, and also the position, which seems to be a bit closer to the middle of the hand, so covering a bit the thumb, right? Now about this rotation, I think it should be as much as possible in the same line of the arm, right? But I see that here is not that much, right? So it's more similar to the one that we have, so maybe we can leave it like this. Now on the right, so that one I think is good. On the right side we need to do the same. So we need to add a new socket and call it right hand, right? And I think as a start I can copy, you know, the same positions, but I think they would not be correct, but okay, enough of this album, I would say. So we're gonna switch to the full set of songs. So on this one we do the same. We just attach a sample preview mesh, which is here, and we can take this one. Yeah, I see that here the direction is a bit more in line with the arm. Huh? But yes, I think it's pretty much the same. I think we didn't change this rotation. We didn't change this rotation. Oh. Huh. So I think it should be slightly higher. No. Yeah, the perspective is not exactly the same. Actually, in theory, if I could go... No, because in that view I cannot see much. In terms of forward backward, I think it's kind of fine. And in terms of up down, I think we can... I think we can just move it up a bit like this. And now they seem to be pretty similar. I mean, this will never be perfect because the ends position of all the characters are a bit different, so I think it's okay. I'm huge? Okay, thank you for telling me. I am huge. Give a story to little OP. There was a game in the 30 plus minus 30 and strength damage it got nerfed. Point being, this word the same was the one I can everyone and not belonging to me. Don't get the jump out back. Yeah, I'm covering quarter of the screen. Yeah, sorry, because I do that at the beginning of the stream just to say hello, but then I should switch to this mode, but I forgot. Thank you for telling me. So now, I think these two are okay. Then we have the Helm Socket. It's a pity that I cannot see all the sockets in one at a glance, you know? But the Helm socket is on the head. So we can go for an Helm. Right? And we can do the same for this guy, which is our new skeleton. She's our new skeleton. So on the head, we're gonna create a new socket. And we call it... the socket here is called Helm, actually. So we'll call it Helm. And we will... By the way, the orientation is completely different. Just the orientation of the socket. Why the socket was in this version completely... Well, anyway. Maybe because we have to rotate it. Yes, maybe we will discover it now. So we go for... also here a preview asset. If we can use the same Helm, it will be better. Boom. Yes, that is why. Okay, let's copy the information that we have, and then we will adjust it a bit, okay? The scale here was 1.1 for whatever reason. Can I remove no? Probably not. One 1.6 looks 1.1 looks huge. I think it looks too big. Looks too big for this character. Why was like this? Maybe because I adapted it to another character. Seems to be very, very big. This 1.1. I think it should be always, I mean, it should be more 1 than 1.1. So like this. And is no. Let's try to scale it up a bit. Was he scaled on the 3? Yeah, I was scaled on the 3. I think it's still a bit too big, but I think now looks better. I mean, the point is that the position is fixed, so when you change the helm, you know, if you change this helm to something else, You know, it should still kind of fit, right? So if you go up too much, if you increase it too much, it will not really work. Yes, maybe it's a bit too big. Well, it's more of a, I think this one is more of a display helm than a combat helm. I mean, I think this one on the right is something that you use just as a display, you know, but like in a parade or something. But I don't think it's very handy as a combat, because first thing that happens is that this horn will get broken. And if it doesn't get broken anyways, is, let's say, preventing you to clearly see on the front somehow, I mean, all directions. And then yes, it's very heavy and it doesn't allow you really to swing, you know, with your sword the way you want, because it's pretty big. So I think this one is more of a display helm than an actual combat helm. Okay, so we have them. Which other sockets we have? Unfortunately, the sockets are very hard to see, because they are basically the same icon. So left hand, right hand, helm. There should be, I think, one for spells. No, I think we created one at the center of the character. No. Ah, yes. Spell spawn and rider socket. Spell spawn is the one that we use to when you have a spell that is active on you. I just don't understand where is it attached, because it doesn't tell you. I think it's attached to the root actually, but I don't think it's a good idea, because the root doesn't stay always with you. The pelvis stays always with you. So I think that we need to attach it to the pelvis bone. If we attach it to the root, like when the character is jumping. No, when he's jumping, no. But when he's like dying and going to the floor, the root will stay in the same place. So I think we need to create it on the pelvis. I think I did it on the root so that it was always perfectly centered, but I think I will try on the pelvis. Okay, so I think in terms of position, should be fine. I mean, it should be in the middle of the character, wherever it is. Like it is now. Now there is this other one that is called Rider Socket. And the Rider Socket is basically the place where the rider will stay on this creature, right? And in our case, it will be like here at the back. I mean, it will never happen that you are kind of riding this guy, but since we have it in all characters, I think I added it to this character as well. The rider socket was also attached to the root. I think. Yes. Was also attached to the root. In this case, it doesn't matter too much. Obviously, attached to the root is a very bad idea. We should attach it to the spine 4 if it exists, or even to the spine. Yeah, it should be attached to the spine 3, I think. And I mean, it's a bit useless discussion, to tell you the truth, but because we will never have someone, you know, riding this guy. But just to keep it consistent, you know, with all the other character and object, I think it should be defined here. And this one will be called exactly like this. So rider socket. Okay. And again, we don't care too much about the position, but yeah, we put it like there at the back. You can do the same here and put it here at the back. Right? Because I think the code is in a way expecting this to exist, so that is why we put it also on the character, so that the code is not like complaining that a socket is missing. I see more people are joining. Hello, welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, don't worry, be interactive. You can ask what you want. Okay, do we have other sockets? I don't think so. You know that we can use the rider socket. Wait a second, this song is a volume that is insane. We can use the rider socket maybe to have the weapons on the back. You know, when you're putting your weapon away and you are putting it on your back, we can use also this socket to put the weapon here. Okay. So like if I'm attaching this, let me just remove the bones. Right. The problem of this thing is that it's never working, you know, with a different animation. So you can put it there, but as soon as you do any animation that moves a bit the spine, that weapon will go inside the character, right? Or when you are sitting, for example, when you are sitting, the weapon will go inside the ground, or you know. But anyway, in theory, the rider socket should be like this, because the up should be up, you know. But I think we can rotate the object when. I think we can put it like this. I think we can use the rider socket for the weapon if we want. Why not? Since we have it. Okay, but anyway, I think we added all the sockets. So now the good thing is that this is generic, okay, for all the characters. So I added it on this one, but in reality I already added them to every character, right? So to do the test, we can just go in game, and in theory we should be able to put in our hands a weapon or any item. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. It's the first run of the day, so it will take a bit. We also need to fix the opening of the doors. That for some reason they are not opening. I don't know why. Yeah, we need to wait a bit. I was missing this, huh? I was missing the webcam going crazy. I don't know if it's when he's loading, like when he's loading a lot the first time, maybe the webcam software is not capable of keeping the connection or something. By the way, it's not opening, huh? As usual. Okay. So, if I put a weapon in my hand, I don't have any weapon, but I can spawn an item. Okay. So at least we have 2 weapons. Oops. Do they look fine? Do they look fine or not? This one, I think it looks okay. This one I think looks okay. This other one looks a bit off. I think it looks too much. No? I don't know. I mean, he has big hands, so maybe that's the reason, but it looks like he's pointing too much to the inside. It looks like, if you look at it from the top, you know, you see this one is looking, but it's also true that in this position, that hand is actually pointing really a lot to the inside, so. The chicken sound is scary? What? What do you mean? You're scared of chickens? I say that hand is pointing a lot to the inside. But I think it's pointing a bit too much, but I think it's the animation, really. I think it's the animation. Easy climbing. Easy climbing. Like Assassin's Creed, huh? Ah, they hear the weapons. 1 second, I need to reset the webcam. Ah. Webcam time. Cock. Program GG. I can go closer to them and see if they run away, but I don't think I gave them the ability to run away. Hey, he's actually running away, look. He decided to go there just now. There's also one inside, huh? There is one inside which is teabagging me. There is one inside there, you see? Coco. I know Coco, but... I know. There is no food. I didn't implement food yet, so... It's not my fault. It's not my fault. There is no food yet. It will be the next release, okay? Can you wait the next release? For the food? I don't know if there are eggs. Maybe there are eggs. But, you know, without food it's hard that they do eggs. Come on, what is that? You disagree? This guy disagrees. Okay, so we can have our weapons. Now, let's see if I can put an helm on. Helm, what is the name of the helms? Battle Helm? I think one is called Battle Helm, but I don't remember if it's Battle Helm like this. No. What is the name of a helm in the dummy database? Because I have to go in the dummy. This is the dummy database, huh? I don't know if in the dummy database we have meaningful items. By the way, we should redo the original window, where in the original window we had the ability also to browse for the items, but no, I cannot search it like this. We can say where name like Helm. Hopefully there is at least one in the dummy database. Yeah, it's called Horn Helm. I think it's exactly that one. Ah, you see? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It doesn't scale. It's fucking chickens. I can go in another place so there are no chickens, okay? But there will be cows. You know, there will be no chickens, but there will be cows. So the problem is that the socket is not... This one came out. You came out of the ranch. Why? Where do you want to go? Moo. There is no space to go around. You want to go out as well? Everyone is going out here. What are you doing? You cannot do this. It's not allowed. You are not a flying carpet. Yeah, there is a bug that there is a bug that when they rest, the animation is not re-triggered. There is a bug. Okay, but it is a bug we need to fix. Yeah, but why the helm is not scaling? Moo, I know. I know, I have the same problem. You have a problem with the grass, I have a problem with the sockets. I know, I want to moo as well. Socket scale. So I want the socket to scale. I mean, people are saying that it's scaled already, but in my case it's not. Wait a second. I think we can test it in we can test it in the preview editor, right? Because if I have a weapon in my whatever left hand, right? And we put this axe in my left hand, and then I change the character to be a crane. Why these collections are empty if I save them? I don't understand. Are these collections trolling me? I'm pretty sure I saved the collections, but now they're showing as empty. Anyway, we only need this. It's not really scaling well. I mean, it's scaling, for sure it scaled the weapon, because as you have seen, when I change it to the alien male, when I change the torso to the alien male, the weapon seems to scale down, right? Well, the position is changing. I don't know if the weapon is changing. Do you think it's getting scaled or not? Maybe we can try with a dwarf, but the point is that this weapon should be way bigger, right? Should be way bigger. So if I take the dwarf, do you think the weapon scaled? I don't think it's scaled. Do you think it's scaled? Yeah, probably it did. But is there any setting on the socket to tell the socket that you need to scale, or no, there is no setting, so it's not that I can do much, you know? It's not that I can do much. I mean, I can use it as this or use it as this. While all my collection are empty, I don't understand. I created all the collections and now they are all empty. I created all the collection yesterday, we did it together. I don't understand why all these collections are empty. Look, 0 elements. What the hell? Why? Why this? I need the collection to be set because so is so much easier in the preview to just switch between characters. I will save it again. I don't know. They've been saved all empty. We did the work yesterday, but now at least. I mean, if you do it manually, then it works. But if you do it in the preview and then you save it, it's not doing it. Which is a bit weird, but okay. So the problem, I mean, we can test all here actually. We can test everything in here because we have all the meshes. The problem are the helms. I think the helms, we have a problem with the helms. Because it seems that the scaling is not really helping. Why? What? Why the helm is so small? Like, I cannot even see it. It's inside the body. The problem is that the head... Yeah, the head doesn't scale with the body. Hello, Warnest. No, the problem is that... The problem is a very simple problem. That a human has a head which is in a certain proportion with his body. And a dwarf has a head which is a completely different proportion than his body. Understand? So it will never work. I mean, it will never work in the standard way. We need to scale the socket per character in the construction script. I think we have no other chance. I think in the construction script, I need to scale the Elm Socket as needed. I think I need to scale all the sockets as needed. I think we can expose two variables and put them in the character sheet, so that I don't know if we already have a plane shift vital, plane shift category, but we can add it here and expose. I mean the Helm Socket for sure. The Elm Socket, because you understand the problem, right? So a dwarf has a head that is as big as this, and has a body which is like this, while a Kran maybe has a body like this and a head like this. So so we cannot scale the Helm Socket with the same scale of the body. While for the weapons, I think is relatively okay. For the weapons, I think is kind of fine. For the head, for sure is not working. In the previous game, we had one helm for every race, which was a real pain in the ass, if I can say. Was a real pain. And okay, but we can do this, huh? Oh, we can. We do. We have to do this. I mean, there is no other way. I need to do this. Scale socket in construction in character construction. I mean, the important point is that I scale it only for one guy, you know, and I don't scale it for everyone. But anyway, did you see that I changed the theme to dark? I don't know, I'm trying it a bit. Do you like it more, the dark theme or the white theme? I don't know. Okay, but anyway, basically we need to take we need to search for that socket, and in the construction script of this character we're gonna change it. I hope that is not scaling it for everyone. Do you think it's scaling it for everyone because the skeleton is one? That would be a problem, huh? That would be a problem. Can I see it in the... Can I see it here in the preview already? Or I can only see it in game. Can probably only see it in game, huh? But it's okay. We can do it in game. So I will have to get my mesh, get my skeleton. I don't think I can get the skeleton. No, I don't think I can get the skeleton directly. I think I can get it from the mesh, yes. Anyway, all these one are sharing. What? Get outer object. I need to get the skeletal mesh object. Is this guy? No, because this guy is an actor. This one requires a skeletal mesh object reference, but I cannot attach it because I have the component. I cannot get the skeleton from that. I think I can just do get socket. Wait a second. I think I could probably from this one there is a get socket. Because I remember we did already the get socket by name, right? I think there was a there is a get socket by index. Yeah, my target is frozen, I know. But I think we do already this in the... No, we do it already, for sure we do it. We do it when we are attaching the weapons. Let me try to restart the webcam. When we are attaching the weapons, I'm pretty sure that when we do the keep, when we do the keep item, wow, these two things now are huge because I changed it before. When we do the keep item, we get socket name. Attach component to component, socket name. Okay, but I need to change the scale of the socket, basically. Change socket scale per character. Can I change the socket transfer at runtime? I mean, if I cannot do it on the socket, I will do it on the item. Why not use socket by name? Yeah, it's what I'm searching, socket by name, but there is no socket by name function. Where is it? Where is the socket by name function? Yeah, but this is not what I need. Don't use case sensitive. Man, I'm asking what is the blueprint, you know? What is the blueprint node to get a socket? That's the question. The question is not about the case sensitive. The question is about how do I get the socket and how do I scale it? Because I need to scale it by character. Or I can scale the items by character, which is the same. So I can also do, when I am attaching the... Yeah, I have the mesh reference, but from the mesh reference seems I cannot get the... You see? From the mesh, if I do get socket, I have... I have get all socket names. Get attached. So I need him to return the socket. I have get socket location, but I don't have get socket. All these functions are returning, I think, a string. You see, all these one are returning strings. Is returning the names of the socket. While I would like to get the socket itself to scale it, but what I'm thinking now that maybe is an easier way to just scale the object. So I could do something different, you know, that when I am attaching the item, in particular the helm, yeah, only in the case of the helm. The rest I think it can go as it is. But when I'm attaching this component, can I set the scale here? Before, yeah, before rafter is the same, but in theory I should do it here. In theory I should do it here. Can I set the scale of this guy? I think so. Now, the problem is if we need to set it on set relative scale, set word scale. I think we need to set the word scale. What do you mean I have some strange stuff, man? That is the default way. I have some strange stuff. There is the default editor, okay? So I right click and I do get socket by name and it's not here. So if you tell me what is the function, maybe instead of saying that you have it, tell me what is the name of the function. Tell me what is the name of the function. It doesn't exist. I think we should set the... Okay, let me try. Just for fun to do like 2, 2, 2, okay? So I'm basically doubling this guy. But I think it's better if I do it this way. So I set the scale before setting the current item, and then, so let me just try 222 just as an example, okay? And then we will find the right scale by character, and we will expose a variable. But I just want to see if it makes sense. It should be, yeah, the problem is that it should be on the character BP. I'm just saying how to get the socket. I want to return a socket in blueprints, but there is no get socket by name. So it seems that you can only use the name, but you cannot get the socket out of it. Which, okay. Okay, so if this works, I think we have a way. Because I think for the weapon we can follow the relative scale of the body, but for the head, no. For the head, we need to have a specific value by character. Use case sensitive off. Yeah, you can use case sensitive if you have a function. We don't have a function, so how do I call it? Where do I put the case sensitive? Yes, it's definitely working. The by 2 is definitely working. So I think we can do it by character. Yes, okay, I think it's good. But we need to set this information inside the actual character. So character BP is the superclass, and current character is the lower class, right? And inside the blueprint, while trying to search, the search here is completely case insensitive. You can type get base, you know, all uppercase, and you get also the one that is lowercase. So the search here is completely case insensitive. Understand? So so if you type socket or socket, is case insensitive. So it's the same. The problem is that, you know, there is not a function which is called that is returning a socket by name, unfortunately. Socket by name. There is no socket by name. No, it's not there. It's not there. I think it doesn't exist. I think you can do it probably only in C++. You can probably do it only C++. They don't expose the, because they don't expose the socket itself, right? They allow you to use it, like you can pass a socket name to a function, but you cannot extract the socket directly. What I mean, what have you done? You are so funny, man. You think I've changed the engine, huh? You think I have changed the engine? Yeah, for sure I've changed the engine. For sure. Okay, so we need the scale of the Helm to be specified by race. And now the only thing that I'm thinking is, should the server side be aware of the Helm scale? Considering we are not doing collision detection, well, actually, yeah, but considering we are not doing collision detection on the items, but we are doing it on the capsule, we don't care if client side the Helm is scaled twice, right? Now, the only question is, can the client do it? But I think yes. Which is interesting though. So it means that the client can scale any item he wants without the server telling him to do so. I think so that's easy to cheat, huh? Very easy to cheat. Because the scale is not prevented from getting set by a client. So the client could set, you know, a monster bigger or smaller. Now the combat actually will not change, luckily, but it may seem better. Yeah, but it's the same as you can change the texture of an invisible monster to be visible. Yeah. So, yeah, we can set the scale. We can set the scale client side. You can do it. If you can do it, do you have the editor open? Open the editor and check, right click and try. But I don't think you will be able to, man. I don't think. That function does not exist. Or maybe it has a different name, but I don't know which name. So how do we set this freaking variable? We set it on PS character and then we override it in the child, right? Because it should be available to all the character monsters included. Yes. So I think it should be a variable directly. By the way, one day I think we should organize these variables. Look at this mess. Temporary variables. This list is a bit of a mess, actually. Okay, let's add a new one, and we will call it Helm Scale. Or head sides. I don't know if I want to call it head sides, but we use it only for the helm. So we will call it Helm Scale and will be a float. But by the way, I don't think we can change I don't think I can, even if we find the function to get the socket, I don't think I can change the socket scale by character. So I think the solution is to change the scale of the item. I think that's the best idea. Okay, so we have our Helm scale. Now, I would like in each of my character, and by the way, this one I want it to be a plane shift something. So, and I want it to be exposed everywhere, right? So it should be exposed, and it should be category, maybe invent equipment, because we have equipment already. Maybe we can put it on equipment, right? So now the question is, if I go to my Cran character and I look at his details, actually at his class default, and I search for Helm scale, you see Helm scale is here. So I can set it to 2, right? And then I can have here, by the way, this is an unsolved problem that we didn't I mean, we completely overlooked when we changed the, and I think it would be the same for the bracers, you know, because you can have a very you can have a character that is very big but has very thin hands, right? Very small hands. And you can have a character which is very short but he has very big hands or arms. Well, maybe not hands, but let's say arms, right? And so when we are applying the bracers, I think we have exactly the same problem. So when we are putting a bracer here, when we are putting a bracer here, we cannot scale them automatically by the size of the character, you know, the scale of the skeleton. We need to set them by an arbitrary value that is valid only for that particular item. You can add a socket and scale it differently for each character. If you modify the base socket, you will modify the bone. Okay, but it's by character, so that, because all my characters are sharing the same skeleton, right? So if I have one skeleton only, okay, which then is shared between all of them, and my skeleton has one socket on the head. Now, if I scale this one, can I scale it by character so that every character has a different scale? I don't think so, because it's the same skeleton. So that's the, or maybe yes, I don't know. Maybe yes. But I think if I scale the item is the same. So, and scaling the item is easier. Because scaling the item for me will be just this, you know. For me, scaling the item would just be this, and so it's fairly easy. Let me see if I can fix my face. Delete and create a new one. Okay. Yeah, that's a way, but seems way more complex than just killing the object. I think scaling the object is a simpler idea. Look at that face. Okay. I'm good again. Okay, so okay, so now we need to find the right scale for every character, right? And if it's possible, it would be also nice to document it somewhere so that we don't have it only, well, I don't know. We can also have it only. We can also have it only, it's not a problem. But for example, for this guy, (1.05) is a good size, right? 1.05 in all directions. By the way, we could also have it in different directions, but let's say 1.05. 1.05 is a good one. So then, as a default in the base skeleton, we will leave it as 1, right? Otherwise, it will affect. Yes. Yeah. So we need to leave it here as 1. And then put in the character 1.05. So this guy will be 1.05. Right? And let's do the cran. I think we have to do it for everyone, otherwise. So if I go in preview and I use cran torso, and this looks like fun. And now I hope I can use my base collection that I just changed. Yes. Is this thing changing every time I touch it or what? I mean, every time I look at it, it's different. No, hands I had already. I need the legs. So we learned that changing collections, you have to do it on the collection itself. If you do it in the preview editor, it doesn't work. Okay. Oh, I'm missing the head. Yeah, you see how small is the elm? It's basically non-existing. The elm is super small. Now, I hope I don't have to change also the position, but potentially yes, huh? Because one head can be more to the front and one more to the back. Yeah, exactly. Fuck. But isn't this freaking socket already exposed to our character somehow? It is a bit stupid though. I mean, if I open the cran torso, right, this mesh, and then I look at his skeleton. If I want to change, if I change the Helm Socket, no, I cannot change it. Because unfortunately I don't need only to change the scale, but I also need to change the location. So basically for me the best would be to expose this thing as not as a socket but as a component, you know. And so if I expose it as a component, if I create a new component which is below head and I call it Helm, and then yeah, and then from here I will be, you know, I will be able to manage it per character. The problem is that it's gonna change quite a bit the code that we have now for equipping items, which is kind of annoying. But as you can see, changing the scale is not enough. Like in this case, even if the Elm Socket is here, right, for the crown is working differently. So because for whatever reason, that socket, he has his head socket more close to his mouth, I don't know, like here, and maybe in his head maybe it's a bit more to the front, while if I go with the alien male, and I use the alien collection, the head socket, the Helm Socket is probably a bit higher, I don't know. But it kind of doesn't work the same. Yeah, also the other problem is that this item, as you see, is centered in the middle. So he has his pivot, in the middle, he doesn't have his pivot at the bottom. So when this item is scaled, is actually scaled from the middle out, right? Like if he's exploding from the middle. And this is not helping, and it is not helping the scale. You see how this one is because I think it's attached to the, so the socket is attached to what? Is attached to the head. The head is the last bone that we have, right? And why is it down here? I think I moved it down here myself because it was needed to have it show correctly, no? To have him show correctly. Yeah, I think we need, unfortunately, we need the position and the scale. We need the position and the scale. The scale is not enough. Create a component and attach it. Yes, that's another option, yes. I'm just thinking if a component you know, is going to be more problematic than just a simple socket attach, because the socket attach is a static mesh attached to a socket, while yes, I could create a component below head that I call it Helm, right? And that I can position everywhere I want, right? Maybe that's a better way. Because anyway, I need to manage... I just don't know if from the engine point of view, if having an additional component attached to a skeletal mesh is more costly than just having a static mesh attached to, because I could add either static mesh, right? I could add here a static mesh, call it Helm, you know, and this one I will be able to decide the exact position and the exact scale. The problem is that this one will not move with the animation. No, this is not possible, because I need it connected to the skeleton. Huh? You see, this one is not moving. I need it to be attached to the socket of the bone, so I cannot do it like this. I could attach a skeletal mesh. I could attach a skeletal mesh, and the skeletal mesh then will have to be weighted though. So it means that the helm will have to be weighted on some of the bones of the skeleton, right? Will it be better or worse? Will it be better or worse? Good question. I think a skeletal mesh in general is more heavy, you know, because it does more calculations. You have to calculate the weight, and he has to calculate, you know, at every frame of the animation what to do. So I think would be heavier, but still we need to manage. Is the real pity that you cannot expose the sockets of the father here? You know, if you could see the sockets in each child, you know, that would have been so powerful. That would be so powerful, but I don't think you can. I don't think there is a way to expose socket in child blueprint. But I don't think that sockets useless on child blueprints. Playing around with the construction building of the game, which uses sockets. I set up static mesh of a building block. I have socket for this different attachment, different location. I have a base blueprint out with some function. Then I create child blueprints. In the child class, I create collider parented to the socket on the static meshes. Or I would like to. But when I try to select the socket on the child static mesh to parent the collider, I get the tooltip, cannot change socket on inherited components. Hey, you see? The socket is only on the father and you cannot really change it. Basically, I use the socket on the static mesh for parenting to help its positioning. I'm a little confused. The collider... he answered to himself. Never mind, I figured it out. I had the collider attached to a scene component which was attached to my inherited mesh. I had to parent my colliders directly to the static mesh in my base blueprint. And then he allowed me to select the sockets. What? So it seems that he did it. It seems that he did it. So somehow, it's not very clear how he did it, but somehow he's saying that he can see socket, parent socket. Socket, parent socket. Static mesh. Parent socket. Helm. You can have the static mesh connected to parent socket. This is a bit better, eh? This is a bit better. Should we do it this way? I think we can do it this way. I'm feeling is a better way. I'm feeling is a better way. And it's probably identical than doing the attach. Now, what is the only problem? The only problem is that I need to change the code quite a bit, because our code at the moment is assuming the, well, I can just change the Helm one though. I can just change this piece, you know, instead of doing set current Helm and attach component to component, I will just set the static mesh on the Helm component. The big problem, you know what is it? Is that, well, I can call a function, I can make a generic function that is called by all the, because the father, which is this one, the father blueprint doesn't have the sub meshes here. You see? The reason is that not all our characters are modular. Some characters are modular, other characters are not modular. So for example, the rogue is using the same blueprint, but is actually not a modular character. So with one mesh, but it's not necessary that it's not necessary that the static mesh is a child of the head. Huh? The static mesh can be a child of this mesh, I guess, but still be parented to the Elm socket. Apart from the position, which now went a bit crazy, but so in theory, I think in theory, if we add why when I do parent to socket Helm. This thing is going crazy. It's going to the sky because maybe I have to do it. I have to do it before moving it, probably. Yeah? Yes. Okay. Okay. I think there is probably a better way. I feel this can be a better way. You used index. Okay. The only issue is that we will leave a static mesh always in all of our characters, right? Which will be empty at the beginning, but or every character will set his own. We have so many possibilities. That's good and bad. So we have one possibility. We just need to pick one, okay? But we have, sorry, I need a new thing. We have so many possibilities, okay? So we have option one is to define two variables, which are Helm scale and Helm position on our father. On PS character BP, which is the father, right? And then use those two variables to scale and reposition when the helm is attached, okay? So this is like the minimal version, right? So this is the minimum of the minimum that we can do. And I think it will work anyway, okay? I think this will work well. The only negative of this is that we cannot see how the helm looks in the editor, or anyway, we cannot position it graphically because it will be like two variables and will not be very easy to see the location, right? By the way, when you move it, it's doing some very weird stuff. Okay, if you do global, is a bit better, but in reality, here is changing the relative location. You see. So we have this option. The cons is that no visual hint when building it, right? This is option number one. Then option number two is to add a static mesh on PS character BP, which is then inherited by all children. And let's say the big pro of this one is the visual hint when building it, right? The cons is that we are leaving two static meshes. So we are basically adding two static meshes to all our creatures. I mean, our characters, whatever they are, you know, monsters and not monsters, which they will be empty in certain cases, but still they will be part of the structure of the character, right? So I cannot really evaluate if this cons is very heavy in terms of performance or not? I have actually no idea. So considering this operation is done once, you know, because we do this operation once and then we never change it again, because when we know that the helm has to stay in that position, that's it, you know. So done once, done forever. I mean, we can change only if the character is changing, but I think I'm more in favor of option 1, you know, because yes, I don't have the visual int, but I think I don't have to add 2 static meshes that are staying there forever and they are empty, which I don't like too much. So we're basically adding 2 new components to all our characters, and I don't like it. I feel it may be a problem. Maybe the engine is super smart, you know, and if considering they are empty, it will never consider them. That's a possibility, but so I think we are going with this, okay? I think we are going with this option. So we are defining 2 new variables on PS character BP. One is called Helm Scale and the other is called Helm Position. And this one actually should be a vector. And this will be the relative position compared to the bone. Now, to find it, it's not really very easy. Yeah, the problem will be finding it, because so I will have to do set word 3D scale, right, on the helm using this scale, and then I will have to set the relative position compared to the attached parent, right? So actually I think this one I will have to do it after, because if it's not yet attached, I think I cannot do it. So I will have to do set location, but it will be, yes, set relative location static mesh socket object reference. No, what do you mean? No, no, set, no. Set location set relative location, this one. Set the location of the component relative to its parent. Now, do we have an issue with rotation as well? I hope not, but in theory, we could also have a different rotation. In theory, we could also have a different rotation. Okay, so let's just try this and see if it makes sense, okay? And the question is, how do I find these numbers? Well, to find these numbers, I don't think it's actually too hard, in the sense that in the skeleton here, I have these values already, and they are these values here, right? Because when I move, no. because this is the socket. This is the socket position, and the socket position will have to stay where it is. This is not very easy, because for example, for this guy, even a scale of 1 is absolutely fine. I can even go lower and probably we still look fine. The problem is the position. So how do we consider the position of this socket? If I put it, well, I could in theory put it at 0, 0, 0, right? I could put it at 0, 0, 0, which is the location of the same location of the head bone. Yeah, I think this is what we're gonna do. We put it at 0, 0, 0 like this, and then we say, oh, for this character the real position is, I don't know, this one, right? The real position is this one, and the real scale is this one. And so we can just copy this and the relative location, and I can go into my character, and I can say for this guy, and only for this guy, the helm position, or let's say relative position, is this one that I just pasted, okay, copying it from the other one, and the helm scale is 1, okay. Now if I do it on the cran, which is a much bigger beast, right, and I say go to the cran torso and set the cran base, okay, this guy, obviously for this guy that helm is disappearing, you see, it's not even is inside his head, because his head is much bigger than that. I'm just thinking if this head bone is already scaled up, and so it will, yeah, for sure, it will affect the scale of the helm already, yeah? But anyway, that I don't know, boys, I have no idea. So let's see. So in theory, I go here and I say, ooh, for this guy, we need, you know, a 1.3 scale. And we need, or even more, I don't know. I think it's even more. I think it's even 1.4. Wow, that's a big helm. But yeah, I think it fits his head somehow. So we can say for him, it needs to be, unfortunately his head is a bit weird, like you see this you see the top is like it's like going out from the top, because his head is still big. His head is like a, I don't know, it's like an alien. But I can move it up a bit, okay? I can move it up until the thing disappears. Like this, okay? I think we'll be fine. So we don't need more scale, because if I scale it more, I think it will become super huge. It's already big like this, so I think 1.4 or 1. I don't know, 38 maybe will be good. And so in this case, we can just copy this value, right, and put it in our character under class defaults Helm position, and we can use the Helm scale of the base skeleton, which is this 1.38. 1.38. Okay, so now in theory, if I have to remember then in my skeleton to set it to 0, because if I already have a value, well, maybe not though, because it is a relative location. I think it will move. No, I think it's not needed, but I mean, just for safety, I will put it back at 111000. Okay, so that in the base skeleton there is no translation or no scaling. Now, in theory, these two characters should be able to equip the helm properly. Why there is a warning here? What do you mean? Okay. Now it's just a temporary thing. Deforming the helmet would be a bad idea. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think if we... Yes, I agree. I think if we scale it like vertically only or horizontally only, it will look very bad, right? So we need somehow to fit his head. And yes, he has a weird head, but he doesn't have hair. So let's say that his head is like the combination of a normal head plus the hair. Okay, let me see what happens now. So if you launch the game, wow. And guys, if you're new to the stream, don't worry, ask your questions, be vocal in the chat, okay? If you want to say hi, present yourself, say hello, ask me some questions, don't worry. There was a big list of failed to load, but I think it's something else. Come on, you're starting or not? Come on, server, you can do it. It would be very nice if I could test things inside the editor, but I think I never looked into that. I mean, I see that everyone is just clicking on play, you know, just clicking on play on the editor. And this should also work when you have a server, right? Because if you go net mode, listen server and client, in theory Unreal should start to run, should start the server and try to run the server. But I think I tried a few times and it was crashing on the server side, trying to do something that it didn't want to do. So But that will speed up, you know, our iterations quite a bit. Can we connect or not? What is going on? Okay. Ah. Didn't work. Well, the scale worked, but the position... But the position failed. Maybe it's not the same. What the fuck? What? I don't have the items in the inventory? What? I mean, okay regressions, but not that many regression, please. Why don't I have an item in the inventory? What is going on? What? I'm also missing the 2 weapons. It didn't save... It didn't save the character. But in the login window, I saw the Helm, so... That is so weird, boys. That is so weird. That is so strange. I don't know how it's possible that our guy doesn't have the inventory items. Let me just check quickly if they are in the database, but I think they are. I mean, I'm pretty sure they are. 154. Yeah. We have actually a lot of items in our inventory. What the? We broke the inventory somehow. We broke the inventory, boys. There is a regression. There is a regression in the inventory system. You see, actually, the items are here, but when I log in game, because this is not really game, okay? This is like pre-game. So what I'm doing here, I'm just visualizing some stuff, but then because I do like a separate read to the database just to visualize the character. But, you know, yeah, also this character, for example, has 2 weapons. Let me try to enter with this character. No, this character has the whole inventory. Okay, so maybe we only have a problem with that character. Maybe he has something invalid in the inventory, and so the inventory is not able to load. Because that's the character that... But we can test on this character as well. But I would like to ensure that... let me do this. I think it's easy enough. Let me delete all the items in the database for that character. So I will delete all these entries that are owned by that character. And... right? And try again. I think it's only an issue with, I don't know, maybe during the test I did something, and it's a bit of a scary thing because obviously if a player loses inventory, you know, it's GG, it's the end of the world. But I mean, it should never happen. But in this case, well, actually he didn't lose the inventory. The inventory was not able to display, which is a bit different. So now he has nothing because I deleted from the database. So now let me respawn. Okay, so I spawned these 3 items. Let me keep them anyway. Yeah, the helm is definitely not going in the right position. I don't know why, but it's not going in the right position. He's probably moving with the character, and I think he's also probably scaled because I see that now is the right scale. But the set relative position didn't work. Okay. Let me just wait like 20 seconds so that the character is saved, but I think it's saved already. If I go in the database and I redo the same search. No. Yeah, it's saved now. He now has in the database the 3 items. Okay, let me just quit 1 second. Why you think the relative scale is not, the relative position is not working? That's kind of weird. Let me try to restart now just to see that we don't have a regression on the item saving or anything else. Why you think the relative position is not working? Because I'm doing nothing else than setting the relative position to his parent. Right? It looks like he moved a bit, but probably moved in the wrong coordinate system. So it looks like he moved. Oh my god, my inventory is always empty. What the fuck? Only with this character, but my inventory is empty. I mean, we have the items in the database, but we don't have them here. Moo. Maybe there are other errors. Maybe there are other errors that are preventing the inventory to load. That's possible. Like I see that we have some receive faction standing on client, which is actually kind of failing. Trying to read property, custom event, faction selected, win skill. So I think that this character is the one that used the most, and probably this one is the character that has all the possible values, including the factions, and the faction are giving an error. I don't know why, but they are, and maybe that's failing, and so the loading of the character doesn't proceed well. I think we have an issue here on this. Access and non trying to read property, custom event, faction selected in win skills. I don't even know if this character has factions, but I think yes, because it's the one that I used to do the test. So let me check character factions, where character ID, yes please, equal to 154. Yes, he has one faction in fact. You think I changed too much the engine? I did 0 modification on the engine. Exactly 0. That's the number of modification I did. Exactly 0. So I think we should debug this one because it's preventing this guy from loading. So this is the faction window. Is the window where by the way, we can see if we click on it, I think it's one of those. I think it's under skills. There is a factions. Yeah, you see that it's empty. So there is something happening. Who spoke? Who is speaking here? I'm trying to concentrate. Okay. I heard something. No? Okay. So I was saying that someone is saying bah. Okay, the faction is empty. We need to check why. I think if we go under game widgets, no, Windows skill, there is definitely a function that is receiving the skills and is receiving the factions, and I think that something went bad. And it is receive faction standing from the server. So I think that our error is K2 node custom receive, and it is receive faction standing on client. Receive faction standing. Receive faction standing, yes. Execute win skill, faction clicked. What do you mean faction clicked? So here we create the widgets, we populate all the factions, we set up the faction, and then we bind the event to the click. Yes. Why here everything is like fucked up? I mean, why we are missing connections here? Current faction. Ah, yes, this will never work.
You broke it, didn't you?
Yes, I broke it. It's completely broken. I think I have to trash it and restart from scratch. No. Yeah, the current faction selected, the current selected faction actually is probably not valid. Read property, custom event, faction selected is accessing none, right? So I don't know why he's calling it K2 custom event, faction selected. It should be called current selected faction, but I don't know. Faction selected. I think it's probably in. It's here. Faction select. So this one is null. Okay, this one is null. It's coming in as empty. And since this is coming in as empty, it's going then to fuck up here somehow. And which is weird though. Because if there is at least one, right? I think we should do this only if there is at least one element. But the funny part is that at the moment there is one element. This song is always played, by the way. Every night we have this song. So we should also print out the. You see, I think it's this one. Faction number 0. So this is the ID of the faction. Element name. Element name doesn't really look like correct. I think something happened in this graph. Faction standing for each array. Element name. There is a faction's value. Select currently selected faction. Are we ever setting this? Yes, we are setting it here, right? So we are basically setting the current selected faction to the if the current selected faction is not valid, we set it to the return value of this. Yeah, I don't know if this is valid, is actually correct. I think this is valid, is fucked up. This one is not correct. We should check if the currently selected faction so it is going on target. Target is what? Win skill faction. Will skin faction. Win skill factions. Yes, as a target, as a currently selected faction. Why this variable is not in this list? Do you see it? I don't see it. Currently selected faction. We are in win skill, right? Win skill factions 1. Win skills faction 1. Win skill factions 1. Is this thing. Win skill factions 1 is a widget. Win skills factions 1. And he wants to know if these win skills factions win skills faction. So it's taking me a bit because I don't remember how I built this. So okay, it's basically pointing to this window. Right? It's pointing to this window and it's checking if the currently selected faction, which is this one, which has no default value. Okay. This one has no default value. It's basically checking if this one, which corresponds to the wall window, as a currently selected faction. So yeah, so this check with, no, in theory the check is correct, but I don't know why is not, if he's going through this at least once, and it is because the faction standings that are coming in are at least for one faction. In fact, we get this printout, right? I mean, I can do this if you want, so which is a bit more understandable actually, because printing values like this is never a good idea. But so I can say received faction whatever, right? Received faction B or whatever it is, so which is this number. It will probably be 0, but received faction 0. By the way, faction 0 exists in the database. Pretty sure of that. Is the first faction. Faction 0 does not exist, huh? Yeah, but actually I have a faction ID 2. Why this thing is 0? I mean, I think we have a bug maybe then in the way we create this array from the server side. Yeah, I wanted to set the socket scale, yes. But to set the socket scale, I need to have the socket. So I need to get the socket. So how do I get the socket to set the scale? Or there is a set socket scale that is taking a name? You see, I need the socket. So if I don't have the socket, I cannot set the scale. How do I get the socket? Socket by index. I need it by name. Get socket by index. Check the index for and where do I see the index? I only have the name here, I don't have the index. I only have a name. So I don't know. But anyway, I mean, it would be good to know how to do it anyway. So why we are receiving a faction 0? That's kind of weird. Array element name is 0 in our factions, which is received from I think there is a receive faction on client, which is inside PS character. No, which is inside yeah, potentially is here. No, then should be here. No. Well, receive faction standings. Yeah, so that is the function, and it is probably coming from or user manager. No. Or can also be PS character. No, fuck. I need to search in all the open documents. I need to print it out to see the index. Oh my god. And then if I change one socket, it changes the index. I need to change the code. That's not a very good way. Send that to the client. So basically here in factions we have kind of a weird thing that the name, so the factions are the factions is an array of F factions, this one. Okay, I can do a for loop to understand the number, but if then I'm deleting the socket and putting it back again, I think it will change the number, so it's not a very good system, you know. I mean, it's a system that may break. So name, description, ID. Okay, actually, I don't know if we have the name, but for sure we have the ID. The ID is required. Yeah, actually the name should be set, but for whatever reason it's coming out as 0. It's coming out as 0. There is the name and the ID. Maybe we can print both, you know, just to see what is coming. Yeah. Maybe I'm misinterpreting something and actually is going through another part of the code. The factions were working. Now, I did a lot of changes to the character blueprint, so it may be that... Yeah, but we already solved it, Warnest. It's already solved, okay? So I think it's already solved, so it's fine. We just need to find out the relative position, but first I want to fix the regression, because we have a regression on the factions and I think it's bad. So I want to fix it. I think probably the relative scale, the relative position is just because it's in a different coordinate system or something. Okay, let me see what he said. Let me see what he said now. So we should have more information. What? It's actually empty? Yeah, it's actually empty. So he's never going through this. It means that the factions that are getting sent, it means that this array is probably empty. Which is kind of weird, unless this faction 2 doesn't exist in our faction list. But it does, because we have the merchants, which are 2. Yeah, I think if you use this is exactly what I'm saying, Warnest, that if you use the index, which is a number that is not related to actually a name of a socket, then you will find out, you know, one day you will have a mismatch of numbers and names, and it will be pretty bad. So I think there is probably a better way in C++ to get the exact ID by name. Probably in C++ there is the way, and here there is no way. But anyway, if the faction is empty, we should not do this. So I think that here we just need to check that the we can just check again that the currently selected faction is valid. By the way, whenever we receive... Ah, yes, we make it empty already. Perfect. So I think we should just check this here. And we should go here only if it's valid. Okay, if it's not valid, we don't want to enter, right? Because it means that there are no factions available, which I think is this case at the moment. Now the problem is that Yeah, let me do this because I think it's good. Faction standing. Let me do. This is just a debug, you know, a debug printout, but I think it's a good debug printout. Okay, let's try like this. So at least we see which kind of faction standing we are getting. The problem is it seems that there is no match between the faction standings and the factions, so there can be a bug in the code. It's very possible that there is a bug in the code for factions. Because I did it and then I stopped doing it in the middle of the development because I was missing all the icons and the UI. Now, I'm pretty sure that in C++ you can get the index by name. It's just that the function has not been exposed, but I don't want to hard code a number of an index into a blueprint. That is a very, very bad idea. So you should have a small function that by the name is giving you the current index, but you cannot print out for loop, you know, find the name then hard code it. That's super bad idea. Bah. Bah. Wow. We don't even enter there. Yeah, we don't even enter here. We don't have an enter here, so it means that this character, for some reason, does not have faction standing properly sent by the server. Which is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It means that there is something broken. There is something broken in the code. So what we're gonna do... I don't want to save any of this. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna launch the server in debug mode and trying to see and debug it here when it's reading the faction data, because I really want to see what it's sending out, right? Yeah, I think you can with C++, I'm pretty sure. Because, you know, you can do the for loop that you were saying, you can do it on the fly. So you can do it while you assign the socket. So you can search the socket by index, then search it by name. You can do a small function, you know, that does that. If you need it for your project, I can do. So it's not shown in the blueprints, but you can have a, you know, a function that then you can call from blueprints that does that and returns your name. Yeah, you need to do your own, yeah. You need to do, but it's very simple, It's very simple. You add a new C++ class and you derive it from blueprint library, okay? From blueprint library. And then and then in the blueprint library, you just add one function, and you can call it get socket by name if you want, which will take as an input the skeletal mesh and will return the socket. Assuming that the socket is serializable on the RPC, but I think it is, because it's a U object, so you should be able to return it. Okay, let's see why these factions are fucked up. Ah, okay. Because even here they are empty. Okay. So we don't have any faction data. We don't have any faction data. Interesting. So these factions is empty. Why these factions is empty? My character loaded the factions for sure. Update factions. Okay. Get factions standing. Is inside character load, so I think there is something broken. There is something broken here. We're gonna find it very soon. You have 4 objectives. Set up your server with good operating system. Set up TensorFlow to create a profile. Set up Unreal server. Go back to your programming. Nice. I like the plan. I like the plan, man. I like these kind of plans. Absolutely. Hey, boys. I see a lot of people join on Twitch. Hello, hello. Hello, guys. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Okay, so let's see why we are loading this badly. Okay, because basically this one after this load is empty. No, actually it's not empty. It's not empty, he has 2 values. Ah, wait. This is the loading of the... This is the loading... Score 35, yes. And score minus 35. So we should have a faction score 35 and one faction score minus 35. Absolutely not. Am I looking at the right data or not? Because it is very weird. Faction ranks. Wait. Faction ranks. How was this thing working? Faction ID 2 and 5. I add the rank number. Yes. Minus 35. No, but come on. For some reason, it's taking different numbers, boys. It's taking different numbers from the database. It's not possible. Get faction ash. Yes. PID. Ah, fuck. Because it's loading someone else, not me. It's loading PID 61, which I don't know who is it. PID 61? What do you mean PID 61? PID 61 is not me. It's Hullarino. Fuck, he's loading the horse. Okay, he's loading the factions for the NPC. Okay. I understand. Okay, let him load the factions for all the NPC. It's okay. He was loading the faction for the NPC, boys. It's okay. Now we log in with our character. And now when we log in, handle factions. Send the data. No. You need to load the data for the character first. Yeah, that is the mess, because he's trying to send the stuff to the client, but he didn't actually load it. And it's empty. And he's empty because he never loaded for our character. Why is different from what we were doing in the legacy version of Plane Shift? I mean, why now? Yeah, you see, the faction is null, completely null. Okay.
By the gods, this can't be happening.
This can't be happening. By the way, I think that the 13 viewers on Twitch were probably a bot or something, because we had like a peak of like 13 viewers like a few minutes ago, and now they are disappeared. So they were probably fake viewers. Pity. So here the problem is that we are not loading the faction information for the character at startup. Now, I have no idea why, because in theory, when we load the character here, APS character load, right? When we do APS character load, this should execute also for our characters. I don't understand why we are trying to send to the server. Let me check where this is coming from. Request faction standing. So it's requesting this. Okay, but let me see if after this we are going in APS character load. Actually not. We are not going in APS character load. We are not going in the load there. That's kind of interesting. I was expecting it to go here for sure. There is something I'm missing, which is which is why when we are requesting I think because we are using another piece of code. We are not using this one. I think we are using PS character loader, which is come on. Yes, this one, exactly. Load character list, loading character list, blah blah blah. Yes, okay, so here we are. Load character data, load character data. Spawn actor. Read basic stats. But it should happen here, boys. It should happen here. There is a character data load where character data is our PS character. Should absolutely happen here. Okay, let's start it again and see. I mean, it should go through this. There is no way. And that one is the function I was looking before, which is APS character load, which is loading the factions. Now the question is that happening? Is that happening after the client is requesting the faction data? So that could be a possibility. But you know, seems a bit weird. But it may be possible, because anyway, on the client side, we're getting 0 values. On the client side, we're getting 0 values. That is why you think the print is the best thing ever? Yes, it is very good. But, you know, debugging, like I'm doing now, is even better, because you can see exactly what is happening, right? Handle factions. No, I don't believe that handle factions is happening before character loading. Bah. What? What? No, come on. Please. 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 Okay, let's do... Okay, so he's saying there is no going through that, okay? He's saying that he's not going through that, which is basically impossible, but you know, we will do something simpler. We will catch when we are loading our character inventory, which should happen at the right time, in theory. In theory. Unless, you know what can be the problem? The problem could be that there is something happening before this. Can I have a breakpoint at the beginning? Because if any of this is returning false, right, we will never reach that place. So maybe that is what is happening, you know, that something is happening, like you cannot load the skills, or you cannot load whatever, right? And in theory it should be on the log though. Let me see on the server side. Maybe there is an information. I just need to read it. Maybe there is some information about the fact that we cannot load our guy. Character found. No, but in theory no, but I feel there is a problem here. So something is failing. Something is failing before the faction thing. And so we are not going through the faction part. Okay, so this is our guy, and for sure something is gonna fail here before we reach the factions. I don't know what is gonna fail, but for sure something is gonna fail. I mean, something has to fail before we arrive to the faction piece. Here it is. Okay. Yeah. Okay, the problem is very simple. The problem is that in the location where we are, in the village, we don't have a sector identified. We don't have a sector identified, and so the character is failing to load. But I think this error here is not the best. I mean, if we are in a part of the world which is not yet official, like I am now, because now I am in a village part which is not part of the official sectors, okay? And plus I'm in the dummy database which is not defining all the sectors. So I don't think that this should return false. I think it can give an error, you know, you can print out an error, but I think the character should be allowed to load. And then, yeah, you see, I think if I search the unresolvable sector, here it is. Character 154 has unresolvable sector ID. And by the way, I think if we could put the name of this guy as well would be nice. So at least we know, at least in the printout, you know, we see the name. But if I do percentage, because I was searching for Melare and I couldn't find it in the log, so I think we can anyway. I think I can just print out name. GG! Yeah, that's the problem. It's just because I'm in an area that is not valid, let's say. So I think your comment is interesting, Warner. So you're saying you are making prints of an error that should never happen. And that's a very good point. It's a very good point. I think that when you have a program, you know, that is relatively simple, you can assume that the number of cases are also simple. And so you can basically predefine where it will crash and when it will not crash, right? But in our case, you know, we have a fairly complex system which is relying on data, you know, coming from the database, and the data can be wrong, right? So the data can be wrong, or the data can be not valid. Like in this case, you know, my character is in a location which is not defined anywhere, and so it's failing. Or there may be a bug that is moving you to a location which is undefined. And this is just an example, but it can be a million examples with items, you know. So we have random generated loot with random modifiers, with random monster. Everything is randomized, and it may be that for a bug, a weapon comes out as not valid, or he has some properties that are not valid. So you need to introduce, you know, checks in the code which are telling you if the data for some reason is wrong. Plus, you know, there may be people that are trying to pass invalid data to your server, right? So there can be someone that is just by purpose trying to create the same connection to your server and trying to send malicious data. And so you need to catch that. You need to catch the error and know what is happening. No, these printouts are going into the final binary, because these printouts are EU logs for errors, and those are going into the final one. You can have shipping with logs or shipping without logs. In our case, we have shipping with logs. You can set that in the CS build, I think. There is a setting. There is a setting. I don't remember if it's here. Add modifiers that depends on the range. There is a setting that you can. Ah, yes, this one. Use logging in shipping. This one. Use logging in shipping. So, yes, I mean, in theory you can disable. I mean, by default it's disabled. We enable it because it's important for us to get logs from people if there are crashes. We want to know what is going on. And if you have zero logging, they will tell you, oh, the game crashed. Okay. What were you doing when it crashed? I was running around and finding a monster and drinking a potion and listening to YouTube. Okay. So how will you find the bug, you know? You will never find a bug. So the only way is if you have a log. Then, I mean, maybe when your game is super polished, you know, and is very, very polished, then you can disable the logging, but so I think this one should oh, I mean, we can do it two ways. Or is returning false, and the generating function is giving an error that, you know, the character has not been loaded. Or we remove the return false, you know. So I would say removed. We don't want. Wait, let me put it here, which is a bit easier. Okay. Removed. We don't want a critical failure if sector is not defined. Okay, so because the guy can be in any place. Now, what I'm a bit worried though is that when this function is returning false, which may happen for other reasons, like for example, we are not able to load the skills, so we are not able to load the inventory. This function is actually not stopping, and that's very, very, very bad. I don't understand how. I don't understand how. I don't understand how that function didn't fail. I mean, if there is a critical failure, you should not be able to load into the game. I don't want to have a character loaded and he has no skills, right? I could crypt them and have a secret key. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Consider that in the previous game we were open source, right? So anyone could recompile the client. So what is the point, you know? If they can recompile the client, they can see all the logs anyway. So maybe it applies if you are really fully closed source and but we were open source, so. And I think open source is good, because if you have open source, then anyone can fix your bugs, you know? I think it's the best. I want people to fix my bugs, not me fixing my bugs. Yeah, Plane Shift is open source. At least it was in the previous version. Now this version we will see, but maybe it will be open source as well. I believe in open source a lot. I think open source is a great idea. And I mean, open source doesn't mean that, you know, doesn't mean GPL. But I mean, Unreal Engine is open source, right? Unreal Engine is open source. You can download all their sources and see everything it does. So Open source with restriction of usage. So everyone can see your code, but they cannot take it and copy paste it, you know? Did I click on play? I think I did, huh? Yeah, so the problem is here. The problem is that if the character loading fails, we do nothing. Right? And it is a very, very, very bad idea. So if the character loading here is actually failing, we need to do something. Right? We need, I think, unfortunately we already spawned the actor, but you know, I don't think we really care. I think it's the same as this, you know, if our character is not able to spawn, or if our character is not able to load, so we can say fail to load player data, and we can say and we can have the player name at least. No, the player I think the only thing that we have, unfortunately, is the ID, because the name may fail. So I think we can get at least the ID. I think I will do something as brutal as this, and I will do something as brutal as this, and we will bail out. Now the problem is that we already spawned the character, so the character will remain in the game, and that's not a good idea. So I think we should destroy this character. So I think we will do spawn character destroy, and yeah. Now let's say by the way, I could just use character ID. Oh. She's probably safer because this one is... Yeah. Okay, I think we can simulate the thing. So if we if we I think I will rename the stream of today, by the way. I will rename it to bug fixing because it doesn't really make sense that it's named character animations. Why not open source for gaming? Why not? Anyway, your real data is on the server, so what the players can access on the open source is the way the game works, but they cannot access the database data, right? Database data remains private to the server. They can make hacks also without sources. With sources it's just slightly easier, but there are cheats for basically every game that is closed source. So you have cheats for every game, and they are all closed source. So I think it's better if you have it open source, and so that people can find the potential cheat easier and help you to fix it. I think is a better path. So let's try to reintroduce the return, okay? So that let's introduce this just a second to see if now when he's failing is actually not not loading the character but going back and giving an error. This music, huh? Golden Eggs. You remember Golden Eggs? You don't remember because you're too young, but there was a game called Golden Eggs. It was a super game. It was super nice. Wait. What's this one? This one. Golden Eggs. And this was the music of Golden Eggs. Golden Eggs was insane at that time. Super fun to play. Okay, we have the thingy running, we have the server running, so now we are simulating the bug, you know, of something not working on the character loading, and we see if it actually bails out properly. Double Dragon also very nice. Double Dragon I think is the same time roughly, but I don't think I have the music of Double Dragon. I can search it, but I'm trying to find music which is like, you know, not too fast. Okay, now this guy in theory will fail loading. Okay, and I want to see, let me disable the breakpoints. I want to see what happens when we click on play. Ouch. So basically is not managed. The error is not managed. I mean, is managed server side.
There it is.
And there it is. So is not managed server side. Client side, I mean. Server side it is, because the server just said that it cannot load the character and he deleted it from the, I think. Yeah, he's just saying fail to load player data. and unresolvable sector, and then so the server is fine. The server is just saying sorry, you cannot load in, and is just bailing out. Now the client is not at the moment is not managing the error, right? So I think we need to send back to the client something to tell him that you know, that something failed, and now I don't know if I want to do it now, but will be nice if this request character fails, because this thing is returning null, but I think we need to send a message back to the client with I can do it, it's fairly easy. I mean, we can add a new message in player controller. I don't know if it should be in player controller though, because my character wait a second, who is calling fuck. Who is calling request character? Someone should be, I think it's called by yeah, but it's in the Planeship player controller, yeah. Or not. Yeah. So if this fails, we need to send a message. We need to send a message to someone saying, hey, things have been fucked up, I'm sorry. I think we should have this one as a boolean. You remember Paperboy? Oh, Paperboy! Paperboy was the one that was giving the newspapers, no? Paperboy. I remember Paperboy. I don't know if there is a good music of Paperboy. Paperboy video game. Yes, was the one. Yeah, I remember this. But I don't think that I don't know if there is. Because this one is pretty old, so I don't know if there is a good music for it. But I can search this one as well. Do you remember if you had a good soundtrack? Paperboy soundtrack. I cannot play it. This one. Bow, bow, bow. I can check if I can add it to the list. I mean, I have to listen and see if it's not too annoying. And if it's not too annoying, I can add it to the list. Paperboy. Yeah, I remember Paperboy. I don't remember if I played it a lot, but I definitely remember it. I definitely remember it. We need to change the signature of this guy. I can stop the server anyway because it's not gonna fly. Assign a player actor to the current player controller. So if wait a second, spawn the character actor in the game. Okay, I think yes. I think this is good. So we change it to a boolean. We return the error. We basically bubble up, you know, bubble up the error. I was very young. I like that. Try not to reveal the age. Well, if you played Paperboy, for sure you are not 20. That's for sure. I have to say, if you play the Plane Shift, you are not 20, actually. But, yeah. So we did this. Now here we intercept the result, and on this result we will create a new blueprint implementable event, which is basically sending back, you know, to, I think we can put it character interactions. I think we can put it under skills and factions, which is where we had the issue anyway. So send back the error, we couldn't load the character. Okay, so this one will be a blueprint implementable event, which is, yes, PS character, and this one will be receive error in loading character, which is, I guess, is clear enough what it does. And I don't know if we can pass a value, but at the moment we're not passing anything. I mean, I can pass an F string. Yes, why not? And so we're gonna call this sorry, your character cannot be loaded. Check with tech support. I don't know what to say. I mean, if it cannot be loaded, there is an issue, you know. Contact us on Discord, on forums/Discord. No, contact us on forums/Discord, or in game with another character. I mean, you can just load another character, because for sure if he creates a new character it will work. But okay, those are those error messages, which are not really helpful, but anyway. Tony, do you play other video games or apart from Plane Shift? I hope so. Which kind of video games do you play? Okay, we are waiting to recompile. And when this is recompiled, we can catch on the client side that error. But I mean, I'm not really interested in this, okay? So, but you know, we can add it just for fun, because at least it gives an error. So if we receive an error, I think we will immediately just pop up this error and nothing else. And I think the client, I mean, the guy will have to quit from the client at the moment, and that's it. So I will rename the stream of today to general bug fixing because I think we did mostly bug fixing than else, and I will have to go very soon, like now. I always forget to watch the clock. Fuck. I need to put like I need to put like an alarm, you know, that at a certain time it gives me a warning saying hello. What? What do you mean this document is opened by another project? Yes, in all the cases where we are failing to find anything, we should return false. Look at how many cases, by the way, that we have of failing to load, you know? Used to long time ago. DD was where I started till PS came along. One failed. Okay, I need to go anyway. Cannot stay more. I cannot stay more. She's a pity, but that's what it is. Oh my god, why is this doing this? Ah yes, because he wants the ampersand. Okay, I think I'm going to go. If you're new to the stream, please click on follow on Twitch and please click subscribe on YouTube. And also you can check our Patreon site, which is patreon.com/planeshift, where you can join the crew of people supporting us. And we are 28 at the moment. We want to reach 30. And when we are 30, I don't know what will happen. Maybe we'll have the new alpha. And you can check the videos and all the stuff that we do. Good night, boys. See you soon. See you soon. Tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow, yes. Tomorrow is fine. Tomorrow is okay. Bye-bye.